And hello again. This is for all of you who watched the last video clip and said to themselves, you know, I guess that was okay, but I got a fever and the prescription is more heads-up display. So, more heads-up display. Same approach, only we're going to use the HUD the entire way around. As a matter of fact, we're going to start to fly this whole thing manually the whole way around. So what we're going to do is, coming into split here in Croatia, we are going to get ourselves configured here, and then we are going to stay heads up just about the entire way. We're going to intercept this DME arc. I'll fly that around manually, and then what I'll do is we'll flip over nav sources, and we will proceed thenceforth to fly an ILS the same way, only with the HUD. So our altimeter is set, everything else is set, ready for arrival. I'm just going to get a few things squared away a little bit early, only because I don't anticipate flying any faster than this. So I can get my props set for reduced noise profile landing, and that'll be taken care of. Our bleeds are on, our pumps are on. Bleeds are on in min, I'm sorry. And we should have our approach in the radio on the left side and on the right side. ILS 1 and 2 both tuned to the frequency, both set to 050, so we're good there. So what we're going to do is we are going to basically fly the rest of the flight heads up and hands on. So let me just get us back there. And we'll get back on our VNAV path. As you can see right there, we're coming down. And let me see if I can get this one to toggle on and off. Yes. Okay, good. No, it goes back to the captain's side. So if I go like this, like that, and the left side comes up. All right, well, so much for that. But before we do anything else, let's square up our heading bug. Our approach is pretty simple. When we get to the end of the arc right here, we'll flip into heading, select mode, fly that heading, and then switch over to blue needles and intercept first the localizer and then the glide slope. And good, hey, we're in IMC. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to wait till we turn onto our arc, and then I'm going to fly it by keeping the flight path vector, which is the circle with wings, aligned with the, I don't know what you call this little doodlebug here, but we will fly the doodlebug or the dingus or the thingamajig, and then that'll get us around the arc. We'll do our little switch, and we will intercept the localizer with the HSI here for guidance. But since we do need to fly that arc right now, we are going to stay in pink needles, which is why the nav source, which is right here, says FMS1. We're descending at 300 feet per minute. We are on our vertical path. That's all good. This is our floor that we've set for ourselves. Outcell is on. The mode is VNAV path. And it has disconnected, which it sometimes does. But since we're almost at 3,000 feet, and let me see if we can start to come down. Can we start to come down? Once we turn, we can come down to 3. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, does it like to turn us. Okay, so what we're going to do is, it looks like it's recaptured the VNAV path, but it hardly matters because we're at 3,000 anyway, and that's the floor we've set for ourselves, so we're good. So let us fly this arc now manually. And the way we're going to do it is, again, we're going to just keep that there thing centered. We're going to watch our speed. We're going to watch our waypoints. The waypoint we are looking for is going to be C105. I'm sorry, CI05. It's sort of the extended center line, except it's not really. It's really an intercept. But okay, CI05. When we get there, we'll do our radio switch. So, keep our power there so you can see it. Props are max. We're all set, ready to go. Off comes the autopilot. We're already trimmed, so there we are. And we're just going to keep the meatballs centered there. And we're going to fly around this arc. And we're not really going to look at much of anything else except our airspeed and our power setting. Keep our altitude where it should be. And you notice we're turning slightly to the left, and that's because we're basically in the slot here following this circle around. Just a very gentle turn. It's the thing actually that an autopilot is really most good at, because it's just tedious work, and the autopilot can do it with a little bit more precision than we can. I'm just going to let ourselves come down ever so slightly here, so we get down to 3,000 feet. And I've got a sneaking feeling this feels like a lot tighter turn than the last time I did this. I've got a slight sneaking feeling, and we can come down to 2,900 by the way, that we are just a little bit off here. So let me just see where we are. Okay, we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to very, very briefly switch our nav source to nav 1. We're going to hold our heading for a moment. We are going to hit approach mode, and we are going to toggle our heads-up display into IMC mode, which is going to declutter, you see. And in a second it'll show us where we are with respect to the glide slope and the localizer, but I'm just going to slow down a little bit. You see the cross that's creeping closer to us? That is our flight director in essence. So, roll out the power, come down below 200, put in the first notch of flaps in a second. Off comes the power. There we are. A little fast. We'll fix that in 1 second. A little bit gusty here. A little bit of a crosswind. Just trim out our rudder a little bit. Notice how that cross is creeping forward to where we are supposed to be. And we are decelerating. Okay, notch of flaps. Gear comes down. Now we get that ladder, that sort of skyscraper there. That tells us whether we're fast or slow, and we are fast, but we're going to fix that. Next notch of flaps. Nose comes up. We slow down. Got a little bit more of a crosswind there. Okay, final notch of flaps. Come off the power on the right there. Okay. We're on about 3 degrees down, which is where we should be. Now we're not even going to look up from this. We're going to fly this the whole way. Okay. Up comes the nose. It's going to come to about 1/2 degree up. but not much more. Okay, little rudder to correct. See, now I'm just making tiny corrections with my feet and with the trim, because I want to bleed off even more speed. I'm going to come down to about 131 by the time we float over the fence. Okay, there's 135. I'm going to start to ease the power back in. There we are. Okay, we're a little nose high, so I'm just going to let us come down and bring a little more power on. Okay. There we go.
500.
Caught a little gust there. Look at that. Okay. A little slow. Well, I'm right at VREF, so I'm a little slow with respect to VAP. But we're a little high, so we're going to pick up just a little bit of steam. Keeping. Okay, we're nice and stable. There's our runway edge indicators coming in. Now in a second landing, we're going to see a little plus where the plane is, and that means to flare. There we go. And up, up,
50,
up.
40, 30,
A little power.
20, 10.
And welcome to split again, where the local time is 0 HUD 30. And I will say it without fear of contradiction at 17.69 feet per minute. That was a sweet-ass landing. And before we turn off here, we're going to show it to you. Well, we'll just get out of the other people's way as we turn backwards down this high-speed turnoff. There we go. All right, let me just nose up here. And now that we are safely clear of the active, let's see that sucker again. Look at that. Just grease that sucker on. Only let's get a better view than we got. Alright, let's see where we are now. There we are. Okay. Ever so slightly nose high, but nothing dangerous. And let's just see it one more time what the picture looks like with without the HUD, just as it would just flying it visually, or looking at the flight director right here. So we'll just keep that in place as we just wait for this replay to recycle. One thing I do like better about X-Plane is that you can replay any portion of the flight any number of times you want, and stop it anywhere you want, and restart it anywhere you want. Alright, well anyway, here we go. So there we go, right at about a knot above VREF as we float over. Look at that, right on the bug. And we're at about 11% torque, so we're going to be slowing down as we come in. And we're about 4 degrees nose up, which is within limits. You'd probably like to be at about 2.5 instead, or 2.5 or 3, but we'll take 4. At any rate, I won't put you through the rest of that, but that is that. And again, I'm not sure where I'm going to go from here, so you guys give me some suggestions within about an hour and a half flying time of Split here in Croatia. That's heading east, probably a little northeast. And till next time, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and see you again soon.